Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Partner Awesome Podcast. My name is Jason Asher, along with Ryan Albretsen. And this week, we're going to be discussing supercharging partner enablement with AI. So we're continuing on with our AI-themed topics, if you will, Ryan, for the month. And we got a pretty interesting one here with partner enablement. You know, because it's the bane of the existence if you're in a large company because you have multiple levels of approval, and it's your best friend if you're in a startup and you have a CEO to approve or a CRO to approve. So we're going to go through a couple of different scenarios today and also kind of talk through some past experience we have with partner enablement and to see how we can kind of bridge the gap here. But there's a lot of really cool things that you can do right now with AI and partner enablement that are extremely inexpensive, and some of them are actually free. So Ryan, with that, I'm gonna toss it over to you to potentially give us what might be the beginning of a potential Albretsen insight.
Thanks, Jason. So far, we've really covered the big picture of AI and partner programs, and then partner recruitment, and then partner scoring, right? So today, we're talking about enablement in operations.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, this is how we get to, how partners get to be productive very, very quickly, and to get them engaged. Enablement, really is the difference between, a high five relationship or a Barney relationship, vis-a-vis Robert Cohen, if you will. And those partner programs actually prepared to get to the market. And I could tell you during my NetSuite days and Ryan, you were part of this as well. We had a whole, program, an authorization program, whereas, the person in my position went away, looked at the support queues, looked at the product queues, looked at the client escalation queues, had a different conversations within the business and even with customers that were implemented by partners to really find out where the gaps were with how the enablement was being distributed, if you will, to the ecosystem. The issues that we found were stunning in some cases because it was very common sense things that were not being followed, and others were, aspects that we had to innovate. The whole idea of an authorization program and how we went about making sure that the partners built websites on top of NetSuite before getting to the market to ensure quality, knowing how we put them through the rigor of scenarios that were appropriate for their verticals, and then actually scoring them. And, some partners passed the first time, some it took, 2 times, and third time, if you didn't pass, you were out. So not only does enablement, bring a level of calm as you expand in the indirect channel, or the partner program, but enablement also gives the ability for the supplier, whether it's a platform, it's a service provider, it could even be gas and electric provider. It still gives them the comfort that they learn my business, they learn my platform, they're going to go to the market. It's going to be as, they're going to go to the market as educated and informed as they could possibly be. And then when there's a problem that arises, we have an expectation of what we need to deal with. And a lot of what enablement and activation is really, I want to just have expectations of the problems that I'm going to have versus surprises that come up every so often. So it's very, very important, to kind of have that 360 view in mind when talking about enablement and activation.
Right. And when we talk about onboarding, I've seen some of these things like last weeks, months, right? And by the time the partner's like ready, let's go, some of them, lost interest. So how do we use AI to fix that though?
So it's an interesting one. Because traditionally, onboarding is like checklists, it's compliance documents, it's logging into a portal, and AI really flips it on its head. And where AI, really helps organizations of any size is that it enables, I think here at Partner Awesome, we call it like, the Partner Awesome, enablement concierge, right? And at Partner Awesome, we have this concept that, it's really a digital concierge that that's able to guide partners step by step. And, how do you register for a deal? How do you qualify? And just the fact that you could talk to an AI 24/7 means that the partner manager is now zoomed out and focused on strategy and focused on delivery versus being a support desk. You
No,
know,
that yeah, that I mean, that's huge. Instead of, like, waiting weeks, like I was saying, if they can talk to somebody 24/7, like, that's a huge difference, right?
right, right. And it's not just answering questions. So for instance, right, if we have a partner that specializes with healthcare, we have a partner that specializes in automotive, a partner that
Mhm.
specializes in manufacturing, we can actually optimize is either the partner awesome, partner concierge by the vertical that the partner is looking to get authorized in. So for our clients, we can actually have different AI, interactions or conversational tools, and that could really help companies not only land and expand, but verticalize and then micro verticalize with the simplicity of Excel files and scripts that we upload to GPT, and then we're able to kind
Yeah,
of turn those into bots that are thinking and delivering value.
right.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so now you're giving the same level of service to your large partners and even to your smaller partners, right?
Right.
That white glove service to everyone.
Right,
Yeah, that's pretty
right.
cool.
And that's where it's an interesting thing that you bring up, because this is where you could be a startup with 5 people and you're going to deliver the exact same service as, an established enterprise with 5,000 people.
Mhm.
So if you think about it from a client, or they think about it from, you know, an experiential perspective of what it means to interact with your brand, it's the same expectation that you would have. Like sometimes when you partner with large enterprises, you expect the smaller, up and comers to treat you the same way. Now, that same
Right,
experience that you're having up here, you can have when a company is first beginning. That's a tremendous upside, for any startup that's looking to really gain their footing in terms of their program.
right, right. So how does this pertain to training and certification? Because I know that's one area where partners could really drag their feet.
Yeah, and it's not only a place where partners drag their feet, it's where partner managers, their directors, their VCs, even CROs drag their feet. And they
Yeah.
don't drag their feet on purpose. Like they wake up in the morning like, okay, fine, we're gonna delay this. No, they drag their feet because they have a full-time job. They got everything that's going on. And when the onboarding really picks up, it almost causes a distraction to the business. So now you kind of nailed it there, Ryan. I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
kind of take the insight, if you will. It changes that by making it interactive and adaptive.
Yeah.
Having a prompt-based, onboarding agent
Mhm.
or an onboarding-based, conversational tool, if you will. It's like imagine a partner rep, going through training. Instead of clicking through a static deck, they're actually doing role playing with an AI coach. They're actually
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, fine, present me the offering. I'm going to give you," and the thing that I think we do a partner also to do pretty well here is that we give clients the ability to, have scenarios to onboard partners with. What scenarios adapt to your business? What are you looking for? What are you not looking for? So it often it's almost kind of like, like almost like a Duolingo, but for partnerships. It's like teaching you the language of
Mhm.
partnerships without you having to know the language. It's it really delivers a lot of good to ecosystems that are either nascent or established.
And it's funny you bring up Duolingo. My 14-year-old son is actually learning Spanish with Duolingo. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My daughter tried to learn Python, but apparently Duolingo is just language that you can speak to other people with, not
Oh, really?
languages that foster, AI innovation. But exactly, exactly. So the AI remembers and it grows with all the interactions that it has. And if the rep struggles with like pricing questions or they struggle with
Mm.
qualification questions, it'll reinforce it so that the person gets smarter. But then the AI also starts to learn as well, in terms of like when they have the initial conversation, the initial trainings um, with the sales rep, with the product teams, with the support teams, they'll get smarter as well. And because there's a human and a machine involved, the
Mhm.
human is always going to give feedback. The machine's always going to get smarter, being the AI. And then the data also floats back to you. So as a partner leader, you can see which reps are ready, who's struggling, and where to invest in support. So in other words, if you have,
Yeah.
I mean, look, for instance, like, you're a systems integrator and you're global, right? And you have a
Yeah.
sales team of like a dozen people, and you see that 4 of those dozen people are like crushing it. They're like, this is awesome. I get it. Let's roll with it. Let's go. And then you have 4 that are kind of like, all right, I'm getting it. And then you have your
Yeah.
bottom four that are kind of like, well, that's where the manager says, well, I brought these guys on board because I know they can do the job. I know they're great at what they do. Let's invest in some supports. The insights that a manager, supervisor, VP, director, whatever you are,
Yeah.
in your hierarchy, the insights that they gain are pretty impressive as well.
No, that's huge. Really, instead of guessing who's trained, you get actual insight there. And I imagine partners really appreciate that it's tailored to them, not
Yeah.
just some generic, details. So,
Yeah, and what's amazing is that it's not a SaaS model where it's one size fits all.
mhm.
It's a model
Yeah.
that is really, custom tailored to the actual business itself, which is really, really cool. And let's not forget the operations of the ongoing support side. AI chatbots in your partner portal can handle 80% of repetitive questions. Where's the NSA? Where's the MDF? Where do the, NDAs reside? Where do I register a lead? When's the next product update? All these things people are hammered with all day. So now
Yeah.
whoever's in your partner organization sales org
Yeah.
can actually do some thinking during the day and not have to just have knee-jerk
Yeah.
reactions. Did I tell that to you last Thursday? Okay, thanks, Sheila. And that
Yeah.
reduces, the email floods, if you will, in the channel manager's inbox.
Yeah. So if your partner team doesn't have to spend all day being glorified tech support, right? They can really focus on actual partner growth for the
Right.
concept.
Right. So the plus and minus is that, the signals that the people have that people need help with gets summarized into a report. So you
Mhm.
kind of lose a little bit of rapport building during the training. However, AI monitors the signals. Like, for instance, if the partner hasn't logged into the portal in a while,
Yeah.
or if their reps didn't complete the training, if they look disengaged or somebody has to
Yeah.
intervene, if anything, this enables these signals to become red flags so that partner manager that's handling the day-to-day combat knows what they need to do to become successful.
No, that's cool. It's like an AI is giving you a partner health scorecard, but real time.
Yeah, yeah, and there's really nothing in the market like that. And I'm really psyched that we're about to bring this to the market. It's going to be really cool. Oh, Ryan, to recap, right? Tie this back into business outcomes. We have an OKR, that we follow here at Partner Awesome. The OKR, I think I want to kind of dive into it a little bit because when we talk about enablement, I think it's very important that we also speak about what that means to an overall partner program. And I think this could potentially help a lot of the audience kind of understand how a partner program affects the larger part of the business. So when you start the program, you need to have your why. You want to build an ecosystem of partners that progress our brand objectives, increase revenue by maintaining customer satisfaction, right? And this is just an example of what a why looks like. Now, when we talk about partner enablement, we're pretty much talking about an authorization program. We're talking about ops. We're talking about infrastructure. I mean, we're talking about a lot of different aspects of the wheel of the partner programs as a service that we at Partner Awesome use as our North Star within our practice. The education enablement, authorization testing, rewards and whatnot. These are pretty much our main things or our key pillars. And then once you throw AI in there and the AI is able to repetitively answer questions, at least for these three boxes, and answer questions when it comes to, infrastructure, ops, deal reg, ecosystem development, value creation, you know,
Mhm.
every spoke of the wheel is really involved when it comes to the enablement. And having one AI um, that covers all at least all of our seven pillars, and then being able to ask the questions, even if it's repetitive, it still really brings an enterprise grade execution into smaller and medium sized businesses that wouldn't be able to afford a huge team. But again, the actual experience of interacting with a business that does this, it 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 really enables businesses of any shape and size to be able to communicate the same way. And then once the business entities that they're seeking can internalize this, that's really where the
Mhm.
rubber meets the road of being able to present a very robust enablement and activation program, an authorization program as well to the passion partners that even a small and medium sized business is looking to is looking.
I like that. I mean, it's like the AI does the heavy lifting, so the humans can do the heavy bonding, right?
Yeah,
Again, we're not
yeah,
replacing humans, but we're letting those
yeah,
humans focus on other things, building out, the partner programs, having those relationships with the actual partners rather than
Right.
spending busy work, half their day, doing what an AI can do.
Yeah, and I think that's really getting lost right now in
Yeah.
the world. It's really getting lost in the world. Nothing is ever going to replace conferences. Nothing's ever going to replace just seeing somebody in person, sitting down with them, having
Yep.
coffee, having a cigar, having a beer, having something, and being able to like forge those relationships. And if anything, like you said, the most important thing that I believe these innovations are going to bring to the market is the ability for, I would say, the partner facing part of these programs to really be literally partner facing, because once these operational aspects of enablement have
Right.
been settled and locked in, your mind is free to like really strike up to human relationships. And right now, we're at a
Right.
very interesting point in time because everybody's in such a rush to innovate with AI. They're forgetting the main point of, "Hey, I'm Jason from so and so company. Would you like to learn more about my program? Can we talk?"
At the end of the day, Jason, people do business with people.
Yeah,
It, you know, and if you can get your people focusing on their people and having the AI do the tasks that you don't want to do or do them better, have to engage with AI on this stuff.
you have to. You have to. And remember, people who need people also need a documentation document, but they also need people,
Definitely. Yeah.
with that, I think we're going to wrap up for today. Because the people who need people want to go talk to other people. So on behalf
Exactly.
of Ryan Albretsen, my name is Jason Asher of the Partner Austin podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you.